And we also get you these live pictures coming in from Imphal on the left of your screens, where huge crowds have gathered to listen in to Prime Minister Narendra Modi, who is set to deliver that address shortly. As I also stay with my colleague Indrajit Kundu, who's tracking every development there in Imphal. Prime Minister Narendra Modi largely putting out a message of peace and progress and huge sums of money that have been channeled towards infra projects that have been inaugurated earlier in Manipur and now in Imphal, that he is set to inaugurate projects to the tune of 1,200 crore rupees. Prime Minister saying that development projects would transform the lives of people, and these are key projects in the state that are dedicated towards infrastructure and improving access to healthcare. On the left of your screens are live pictures coming in from Imphal. Prime Minister Narendra Modi being felicitated, and as he is on the dais shortly from now, he will be delivering that address in Imphal. Indrajit, I want to come back to you. As we stay with these pictures, very correctly that you pointed out that despite the weather, against all odds, large crowds that have gathered to listen in to what Prime Minister Narendra Modi has to say, and of course the big development push, projects to the tune of 1,200 crore rupees to be inaugurated in Imphal.
Well, that's right. As I said, it's a big infrastructure push. It has taken 7 months since President's rule were imposed in Manipur. Slowly we are seeing some sort of normalcy being restored in both the sides. But there is always a concern as to how to bridge the ethnic gap. Now, as I was hearing the Prime Minister's speech at Churachandpur, he did talk about Ummeed and Vishwas, hope and trust. Now, those two are the key areas, or perhaps the theme of Prime Minister's message during this historic visit to the state. It is historic or landmark in a sense because the Prime Minister chose this occasion. It's been 2 years and the entire opposition has been hitting out at the Prime Minister, saying that why did he not visit? We heard just a short while back Priyanka Gandhi. We've spoken to the Congress leadership here in Manipur. Everybody was hitting out at the Prime Minister and the BJP, saying that the Prime Minister should have visited the state earlier. Nonetheless, better late than never. The Prime Minister has come here. I've been speaking to a cross-section of people out here. They have all welcomed this visit, saying that some of the issues which are difficult ones, which are there on the negotiation table, these needs to be highlighted. Now, these may not be, issues that can be solved within a few weeks' time or with just one visit by the Prime Minister. While the Kuki community have been steadfast in their demand of a separate administration, complete separation and separate administration from mostly the Meitei-dominated administration in the valley. On the other hand, the Meitei community has been sticking to their demand that there has to be complete territorial integrity of Manipur, and they do not, and they will never support any division of Manipur. So these are issues that requires a deft political handling. The first step, of course, would be to restore peace and normalcy, and that's what the Prime Minister said, that think about the future of your children and allow normalcy to prevail. I have been covering Manipur for over a decade right now, and I've seen the people here in the state are extremely, extremely resilient. Manipur has seen months and months of economic blockade on several highways. This is not something which is new. Now that in the past 2 years, what we have seen is the unfolding of a humongous humanitarian crisis through the ethnic conflict. That was never seen before. But what Manipur had witnessed earlier was long-standing economic blockades. And therefore, people are resilient. They have been able to sift through these challenges, and they are now slowly picking up on the remains of their lives through the 2 years of ethnic strife that the state has witnessed. Now that things are slowly returning to normalcy, one can only hope that the central government and the president's rule that's in place in Manipur will be able to give fillip to the state's infrastructure. And most importantly, the process for a political solution to the kind of demands that have been raised by both sides will be settled. One can still move freely between the valley and the hills. There are multiple checkposts. We personally face at least 6 to 7 such checkposts where you have to show your ID card. It almost feels like a foreign land. Now, that should not be the case for any Indian citizen who has the constitutional right guaranteed in the constitution for free movement. But a Meitei Indian citizen cannot freely move and go to Churachandpur or the Hill District. Similarly, a Kuki Indian citizen cannot move freely and come to the Imphal Valley. So there is huge amount of mistrust between these two communities, which have been ravaged by violence perpetrated by both these, and they were under unsocial and miscreants and elements. So this trust deficit is something that needs to be bridged, and gap needs to be bridged. And we hope that when the Prime Minister speaks and delivers his speech at this very venue, the historic Kangla Fort, because it is steeped in history of Meitei culture and Manipuri history. So the significance, the historic significance of this location is not lost on anybody. The only point is that once Prime Minister leaves, will the peace process get accelerated? Will there be some political solution? And will people from both sides of the ethnic divide, will they be able to once again coexist peacefully? Will Meiteis be able to live in the houses that they have left behind, which have been, burnt in Kuki-dominated hill districts? Will the Kuki Zoo community be able to come to Imphal Valley once again and access the airport? Imagine the difficulty, the very normal, days of life. Anybody who needs to go to any other place, say suppose Calcutta or Delhi for, students, any Kuki student will not be able to come to Imphal and access the airport. They will have to take the long route, which is a treacherous terrain, to Aizawl, to Mizoram in the neighboring state, and then fly out of the Aizawl airport. So this is the crisis that people have actually braved for the past 2 years. That is what requires a solution right now, and one can only hope that the Prime Minister's visit will be able to provide some acceleration to a process of peace and reconciliation between these two communities. Suvaisha.
Oh yes, completely agree with you, Indrajit.